You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is...
Reek.
Okay. We're joined in the studio today, Reek and I, by...
Queen Bee.
Reek, really?
The first name that came to my head.
It is about Game of Thrones. It'll work.
Well, you're Reek for the rest of this podcast, then. I'm sorry, dude.
I did it to myself. It's okay.
So yes, as alluded to, we are talking about Game of Thrones today because there haven't been enough hot takes on the awfulness that was the last season. That's that spoiler, by the way. So spoiler on everything we're going to talk about here right now. So let's start from the beginning here because it is Game of Thrones, and I kind of feel like if we're going to talk about the last season and how wretchedly awful it was, we at least need to give context for why we feel it was wretchedly awful. So first season of the show, which you go back and watch it now at this point, feels entirely different from everything that came afterwards.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I loved the first season.
Because?
Well, first season was chunky. It gives you lots of deep aspects of all the characters. You get to know what they're all about, where we're at. You know, there's a lot of detail to it, and the detail just kind of blew in the last season.
Mm-hmm. It started at a 10, and it just kind of went to phoning it in.
I honestly kind of feel like that's a fair way to put it because the first season not only like it works so hard to establish everything and create an energy and a focus on what's going on in the kingdom, town, whatever.
Westeros?
Well, no, but specifically the town, because there's a lot
King's
of focus. Thank you.
Winterfell?
I was thinking Red Keep, which is accurate, but also not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, there's some focus on Winterfell, though. The Winterfell sections of first season are boring.
What?
We get to see the not Lady Stoneheart and her gimpy son not do much of anything for an entire season, and then...
You also got to see Jaime rail Cersei in a balcony and then push a kid off of a building. That's
Yeah.
Is that what you have on
okay.
loop on your phone?
duh.
The entire show could have been without Bran. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
He doesn't improve the storyline, and he really has nothing to do with the storyline. And when he's in the storyline, it's like we could be watching something else right now. So, and this isn't commentary on the acting. The acting was fine. I think
the guy playing Bran, whatever his name was,
Isaac something.
Yeah. Isaac McBoringhead. Yeah, he was good for what he was given. He just wasn't given anything.
Right? No,
Sit
wasn't
there and
given
look
anything.
at the quarter.
Like, it's really bad when your entire plot line could be a series of webisodes told separately. And it
yeah.
wouldn't affect anything about the show whatsoever.
Well, they built it up to be this huge storyline and then just kind of...
Yeah, like eighth season, he just kind of like, oh, we have to do these things, and oh, I guess the Night King is dead. Oh, we need to have me stay here while you guys go off and fight a war, and then suddenly I get to be king.
Right. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense
Not at all.
I get that was the ending that they were building to in the novels, supposedly, that he's supposed to be king or something, I guess.
Oh.
But like, it makes no sense in the context of the show because the show didn't give two shits about Bran.
No.
The books
at all.
aren't finished yet, and George R. R. Martin's kind of alluded that the ending is going to be completely different than what the show showed.
No, he's changed he's flip-flopped on that whole thing. He's gone in and said, no, this is the ending we've discussed, and then comes back and said it's going to change. There's going to be some differences because some of the characters are still alive.
Well, and that's, I think that this is getting ahead of ourselves, but that is, I think, the thing that is the problem with what happened is the writers were writing to a specific ending that was agreed upon between them and George R. R. Martin when they first started writing the show. And then they got the notes like, this is what's going to have to happen in the last couple books, but I haven't gotten there yet. This is what my plan is right now. But George R. R. Martin has come out and said, you know, these things are organic and fluid, and what I have a plan for right now is going to evolve as the characters evolve, because that's just writing.
Well, you know, there's rumors, too, that they're going to be redoing the entire story again via animation, so...
I mean, I'd watch that as long as they don't have the same guys writing.
They don't screw it up towards the end. Okay, well, let's talk about what did you like anything about the last season?
Well, here's the thing. The show is really 3 shows. Because you've got first season, which is the adventures of Boromir and the Fat Guy.
Okay.
Which is really, if you watch it, is a completely different show from second season and beyond. Because those 2 key characters, Sean Bean, who always dies.
And you're talking about Robert Baratheon,
and the king.
okay.
I was going to say.
I was like, are you talking about Jon Snow?
It's my private investigator show.
Which
so
fat
many
guy?
fat
Can you
guys.
clarify what we're talking
My
about?
private investigator show, Boromir and the Fat Guy. It's set in the 70s, and they rock around in like a brown Ford Pinto, and they solve crimes together. Okay.
Now that's a show I'd watch. Boromir and the Fat Guy. I have a feeling there's going to be a 70s rewrite on that. We
Let's
should
do it.
definitely do that.
I
That
would
would be
okay
awesome.
with this one. You have to get Sean Bean for it, and then in the series finale, he dies.
Of course.
All there is for
Well, he has
it.
to die in the
course he would
first
die.
episode.
And dies of something completely random.
The flu.
It's either that you got to go to the South Park thing, and Boromir always dies in like every episode, and then he's just magically back in the next episode.
Boromir, no.
Always one day from retirement too.
Right? Exactly.
This show's been on for 6 seasons and a movie.
Retire already. You've earned it now. But anyway, no. And then you've got seasons 2 through, I'd argue, 5 are when they're like full on operating properly. You've got all the good characters. The show is slow building, and by season 5, they decided Bran isn't worth it, and they've ditched him. So they know what they're going to do. And then you got the last 2.5 seasons, because let's admit the 2 final seasons are
7, 8.
average anyway. Yeah. 6, 7, 8. However much of a season you want to count all 3 of those as. And it's just a different show. They didn't have the books to operate off of anymore. Fast travel suddenly became a thing across Westeros when
That's because they did the map at the Red Keep. They were able to travel by map at that point.
well, it's what you and I were discussing earlier. The map was marked here there be dragons and it's
There be
everything around,
dragons.
but then they're like, oh, we got to erase that because we know where the dragons are now.
The map seemed to change too, like in the topography.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, if you look at it, seasons 2 and 3, Arya is teamed up with the Hound. Arya basically slow travels across the continent back and forth with the Hound. And then season 6, Dany can just magically appear right next to Jon in like a single evening. Mm-hmm. And I get that she has dragons, but that's a big continent that they were just on.
yeah.
There is no way she traveled across the long section of it when the short section of it takes 2 years to go back and forth across. And it's got to be 2 years because Arya aged 2 years visibly in that time span.
Well, you don't have to worry about the FAA kind of keeping the dragons grounded for any reason. So
One dude with torches just
Right.
waving them, land over here.
Castle Black.
Got a no-fly zone here over the Red Keep.
That's right. Exactly.
So, yeah, but no, it's a different show, and that's the problem, is that the last 3 seasons, 2.5, whatever you want to call them, they're written without the source material. They're written by a couple of guys that were clearly getting tired of being the primary showrunners of the show, which is why showrunners usually change. And it's just they want to get in, get out, get done, and get to the ending that they were supposed to do so they can go do something else.
Right.
And it just feels
they
like
got that Disney money now, so I don't care.
the actors were there, but the show itself checked out.
Yep.
So,
I think it checked out about halfway through season 6.
yeah, right around after the time that John came back.
Yep.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, it stopped being the show. Mm-hmm. So
Okay, but let's talk about what we liked in the final season. There is one scene in particular that I really, really like, which is the knighting of Brienne.
well, that felt
yeah.
natural, organic.
Yeah, that
like
one
that.
was the best scene.
And even
in
though
my
the story sucked, I really liked the episode of the Battle for Winterfell.
Battle of Winterfell was fine.
It was pretty. I mean, the story was awful.
Well,
but
the fact that all of her Dothraki, sorry, spoilers, all of her Dothraki charged the zombie or the Night Horde or whatever you want to call it, and then end up, they're still left at
Yeah.
the end.
Somehow
Doesn't make any sense.
It looks like all of them run off to it, but somehow she only magically loses half of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping to have more of a Ghost in the whole thing. I mean, the director said that, Ghost does amazing things. What exactly does he do? He runs next to a horse? That's not amazing. You
dog.
put an entire wolf pack out there and didn't even bother to use them. I mean, what is the point? You guys, you dropped the ball, man.
Yeah.
Dropped it.
And then they added the that scene in the last episode where John says goodbye to Ghost. Apparently, some internet sleuths looked at it, and it was actually identical to a scene from like the 2nd or 3rd season, and they just recolored everything.
So they barely did any
they
new
just
CGI.
They kind of just wedged it in from
Yeah. Wow.
because the internet got angry and they're like, well, he's okay.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you're sitting there going, what was the point of any of this?
that?
Like,
Yeah.
what was the point of Arya's whole list when she didn't bother doing any of it? Because she was 1 yard from the finish, and then she was like, nah, I guess I don't need to do this now. That's just not true to her character.
Yeah.
And, like, the whole Sansa becoming Queen of the North, sure, that's fine, but we need to spend, more time making that obvious that that's a thing that people are going to agree to.
Yeah, or Dany just all of a sudden like, oh, I'm going to be a genocidal maniac now.
Yeah.
Just like, I heard some bells and I'm crazy.
Okay, well,
Hitler, Queen of the Dragons.
I'm not here to defend Daenerys's psychotic break, but what I will say
Must have
is
been her time
that
of the month. Oh,
if you really think about it, okay, she finally found somebody that she felt she could marry, not only marry, but have a boyfriend with, okay? And if you've ever been, and no pun intended, ghosted, that,
Yeah.
that could cause a problem. So she basically got turned down by her new beau after having sex with him. I mean, that kind of blows,
Turned out to be his nephew.
right?
Or her nephew.
Lost her best friend all in a span of 3 days, and then was told that she's not even eligible to be queen, is basically what she was told. It's like, you're not the real queen kind of thing. So you just got slapped 3 times really hard in the face. And okay, I could see somebody breaking.
Yeah, I could, but they didn't really put that into perspective in the show.
No, but, if you look just at that makes sense.
I don't argue in any way, shape, or form with her doing it. Like, the end result makes sense.
Right.
But the problem is the fact that there's not enough details, like, building up to it. Like, that's the kind of break that you'd expect from a character after a season or two. Not like 2 episodes, one of them being the episode she does it in, where she's suddenly like, okay, time to kill everyone then.
Right. We can agree that the writing blew and that the whole premise blew and that...
Well, that's the thing. Aside from Bran, fucking being king, everything about the last sequences makes sense for a show that spent 10 to 12 seasons to get there.
Yeah.
The point at which they decide this is the ending we're going to actually commit to 6 seasons in doesn't quite work as well, especially when they only do 12 episodes to then get us to the ending.
Right.
Yeah.
8 episodes.
Ish, yeah.
But, okay, so my favorite scene was the knighting of
Yeah,
That
Brienne.
whole
awesome.
episode.
That was a good episode.
That was a really good episode.
And honestly, with the whole plot twist and everything, if anybody wins an Emmy, it really should be her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's amazing.
I agree with that.
Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
Exactly. Captain Phasma. Because she ain't going to win it for Captain Phasma, but she might win it for Game of Thrones. And the fact that she put her name in for it, that's even better.
Which
And your
shocked me.
namesake also put one in as well.
Reek. I mean, he did a phenomenal job too, like just throughout the whole series.
He really did. I mean, the
I
3
hated him,
people
and
who
then-
put them in, I mean, Melisandre's character, Kristen Houghton, I think is her name, she also put her name in. I don't think she was as strong as the other 2. And you know how I feel about Maisie Williams, so
Yeah.
She's good.
yeah, girl crush on that one. Yeah, she's amazing.
But
She's too young for me.
I mean, best actor was Ghost, obviously.
Obviously. Best CGI'd wolf, Ghost, and the word goes too.
Make sure to recast him as Crypto the Super Dog in the next season. They do.
I'd watch that.
Is there anything you won't watch, Josh? That's really what it comes down to.
Doctor Who.
Everyone
Doctor
wants-
Who.
He won't watch Doctor Who.
Why? What's wrong with you?
I can't get into it.
He hates Doctor Who. He's tried like 3 episodes and was like, no, I'm done.
Which doctor, though?
10th and 11th.
10th, 11th.
Yeah. I think you did one with Matt Smith and 2 with David Tennant.
Yeah, and I did a couple with the first new Doctor. I can't remember his name.
The 9th, Chris Eccleston?
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris Eccleston.
Okay, wow. And he's your
tried.
friend.
I couldn't convince him of this.
I mean,
I can't watch Godzilla, and those are his jams.
so we'll have to do a Doctor Who podcast so I can explain myself because
Well,
Yeah, you will have to explain yourself.
we'll do it next time. The next one we'll do after this one is Doctor Who. Reek does Doctor Who.
is that after we decided to do the Battlestar Galactica one we never did?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Are you sure?
Can you not watch that one either?
No, I loved
it.
I like
Okay.
all but the last half season. We just never did the
Okay.
podcast about
Yeah.
it.
The second Starbuck turns into a ghost, I'm like, I'm done. I watched it.
Yeah,
but
yeah. That whole last half of that last season is just like, what is this show even at this point?
Are we talking the old one or the new one?
New one.
Okay.
I like the old one too.
I haven't watched the old one.
It's goofy. But
Oh
I
yeah,
like
I
it.
mean it's very 70s.
Did you also watch Caprica?
Yeah.
No.
I watched an episode of
that's
Caprica.
kinda boring.
And no.
Okay.
It was good.
Caprica was boring,
I liked it enough.
but I think we're off the point. Game of
That doesn't
Thrones.
I feel like we've just done our Battlestar Galactica podcast. We don't have to do it now. Yay!
Game of Thrones / Battlestar Galactica. How do we get there? Find out.
We got anything else about Game of Thrones? I mean, they are doing a prequel series. You gonna bother watching that?
Yeah.
Well, you know me. I'll watch anything with potential dragons in it. So
Dragons and Potentia.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. I don't know.
But I won't watch what's the show that the show writers went off to do? Was it Mandalorians?
No,
that-
Mandalorian
No.
is the boring Swingers guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Swingers is amazing.
Swingers is good. Some of his more recent movies, like Jungle Book and The
Oh.
Lion King.
Never mind.
Oh, John Favreau?
Yes.
Yes. John Favreau is doing Mandalorian, which I'm very sad about because I'm not a Favreau fan.
I like
he
Swingers.
wrote Go, which I like.
Go
and-
was money,
yeah, and I love Swingers.
and Swingers was money.
And he did the first of the two. I mean, he did both Iron Man movies, but the first of the two is the good one.
Yeah.
And then
There were 3 Iron Man movies.
There were
but two
three.
but
Oh, I see what you're
John
saying.
Favreau.
You said he did 2. I get it. I get
yeah,
it.
the
I
two that were with him. I mean, he's actually fine as an actor too. It's just a lot of his movies, like Zathura and those 2 Disney flicks.
Hey, to be honest, a lot of John Favreau kind of just almost like a D&D, a Weiss and Benioff. They kind of fall apart at the end. Like you were in at the beginning. What happened?
I wasn't even in at the beginning with Lion King.
I didn't watch Lion King because why? The animation one is the best, and you might as well just stick with it and not waste your time.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yes, no, whatever they're doing Star Wars related over on Disney Plus, I am not. I'm gonna have a hard time investing in that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, even if it is Star Wars, and I feel like I need to watch it for the show, the site, I may watch 2 episodes. Go, this is awful. Do
Yeah.
a review and move on with my life.
But the thing
I've done
with
that.
Game of Thrones, though, is they knew they were making shit because they went radio silent the day of the finale, and no one heard from them for like a month.
Yeah,
they canceled their con appearances. Like,
Well,
No,
I
they
think
didn't want to be strung up
Yeah.
at the con.
I wouldn't want to either. Nerds are mean.
like I don't know whether or not they felt like they were producing good stuff, and then they realized it was dog shit afterwards, or if they purposely just didn't care at all. Like, no one's gonna care. This show will make money no matter what it does.
They were like,
Well,
"Did those
We
Disney
do not
checks
need
clear?"
to say that fans are mean. They
Well,
can
they
get
are.
very,
Yeah.
very mean.
They are, yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't want to show my face after that last season either. That was awful.
They'll give them wedgies and make them cry.
Yeah, they would. They would. Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Game of Thrones, huh?
I guess. Okay, so favorite character?
You're looking at me
Yes,
From Game of Thrones?
yes,
from Game of
Okay.
Thrones.
yes.
I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, hold on. So favorite character?
Man, there's so many.
Pick one.
Tormund.
Tormund,
Yeah.
the barbarian. Tormund the barbarian.
He's,
Giant Spain. Torment Giant Spain. Come on, guys.
yeah, he was amazing, and he should win all the
Okay,
awards.
favorite character.
I have, it would be between Macy Williams Arya and Brienne of Tarth.
Okay, pick one.
That's a tough
Pick
pick.
one.
Such a tough pick. I would say for the I'm going to go with the final season because that's what we're talking about. I'm going to have to go with Brienne of Tarth.
Okay. And then I asked this question. I can't even.
The ocean.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm trying to think about someone who survived that I actually want to see something further from them on. Because, I really loved Peter Dinklage's character until, the last couple seasons, and then he was just
Useless.
boring.
Gwendolyn Christie, that's her name.
Gwendolyn, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to look it up.
Well, I'll take Arya then. So, we'll just do
Macy
that.
Williams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, give me a further adventure with them.
Tormund, he goes north of the wall with Ghost, and they have super cool buddy cop adventures.
Doing what?
Sucking the titties of giants.
Can you give me something a little cleaner than that?
Wow.
That is in the lore of Tormund Giantsbane.
Oh, fine, Josh. I'm not getting anything better out of you. I can realize this. B.
Oh, well, I think that she ends up creating an entire army of women and taking it to Essos and taking out all of the Bravosian characters over there.
Is that a series you would watch?
It would be a series. I would watch her in anything. She's amazing.
Would you actually watch the series you've proposed, Josh?
Yeah.
Really?
And, yeah, hers sounds better, though.
I think that's called porn. Reek.
I still watch it. First season was just softcore porn. We all watched it still.
I think animal porn is weird.
Ghost would just be watching.
Oh, okay.
From the shadows.
Because he thinks it's weird too.
It's like he's sitting there going, "Why am I here?" But he never leaves the room. He's why?
There's so much hair.
On both of them. All three of them. No.
You have digressed.
I can't even come up with what I was going to say at this point, so we're just cutting it here.
Arya?
Yeah.
No, Arya, come on.
She has the easiest one.
Well, I mean, she does travel the world, but I feel like her going off and traveling the world, that's fine for a year or two, but once she's done that, she's going to get bored, and then
I think she's going to become the pirate queen is what's going to happen.
take over the Iron Isles.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then just slowly assassinate everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'd watch that show.
I would too.
And then she gets tired of Bran being Bran and then takes over the throne.
You're boring. We need a better...
Bored now.
Exactly. That is the feeling you get from her, isn't it?
It is.
Like, bored now.
And,
As Bran.
and that's the feeling that Bran causes everyone to feel.
You know, I don't know if you've read any of the backstories of any of the actual actors who are doing, but when he was staring off into space kind of thing or looking at people,
Yeah.
he actually wears glasses. And they made him take off his glasses and he couldn't wear the contacts. He actually couldn't see people. That's why he looked so deep into them, is because he was trying to actually figure out who they were
And what they were doing.
and what they were doing. So
That's
good on you, Isaac.
It's called method acting.
That's okay, fine. Sure. This has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein,
Reek.
And Queen Bee.
and we will see you next time.